Hello, beautiful shining souls. My name is Justine, intuitive life guide from the Philippines. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. So, it's been a while since our last episode in our Free to Be Me series. So, before anything else, I want to thank you for being patient and understanding if you've been a follower and if you've been, following this series. Thank you so much. I this season is really about experimenting with not having any schedule. I'm not sure if it is a good thing or a bad thing yet. Because a part of me is like thinking, well, I'm flowing and trusting that I'll know when it's time for me to share the message that wants to be shared. Because I don't want to force it. I don't want to force it just for the sake of creating content. I really want, like, the intention is, for me to be an open channel and share the messages that needs to be shared, that wants to be shared at the right time to the right audience. And so I'm flowing with that. But I also see the value. I've done past seasons where I really committed to having a schedule. And, when I have that placeholder, that schedule, and I hit record, the message flows. And so, I mean, both works. I think the point here is, really experimenting and seeing how it goes. I might not repeat this anymore after I finish this season. But the funny thing is, it all works out in the end because, last month is really so a little life update. I just finished having my NC2 National Certificate for Hilot Wellness Massage here in the Philippines. And so that has kept me busy for a few weeks, for about a month, right? Um Although it's just 15 days training and then have to wait for the assessment. But yeah, it kept me busy during September. And I, I am still learning how to find that beautiful harmony of focusing or having my energy split into different things. That's something that I'm still learning. And so it's a good, I think it's very timely that I have this schedule or lack of schedule. I guess is the more correct thing to say. Anyway, that's just a quick life update. And again, thank you so much for staying with me and for staying throughout this series. I hope that you'll receive what you most need to receive from this video or from any of my videos when you feel called to listen to it. So, with that, let's continue on today's episode. So, I was reviewing the past episodes and I realized that I skipped episode 5, which is funny. Funny enough. Um, and so today, for today's episode, for this week's episode, we are going to do episode 5. And this is actually not part of the original, like, outline that I have for the Free to Be Me series, specifically the forgiveness arc. But I thought, I think it worked out. It's very synchronistic because healing and forgiving ourselves, it's not a one-time thing. If you can remember from previous episodes, I mentioned that at least how I'm experiencing forgiveness is really, first, it's a decision that we make. we choose to forgive, whether it's forgiving ourselves or forgiving others, we make that decision. And then it is grace. It is God's grace. We decide to forgive someone, and then we surrender that decision to God, and we allow Him to work through us to help us heal and release, and going back or reclaiming our power, and connecting with our truth, and all those combinations of accepting, loving, and all that. It's really a path. I don't know if path is the correct word, but it's how we can, like, one day we'll just wake up and realize that, oh, there's no more heaviness, there's no more constriction, there's just lightness of being, and I'm able to relate with this person or relate with myself, and it doesn't hurt anymore. There's really, that's forgiveness. There's that freedom from pain, from hurt, right? So it is a choice, it is a grace from God. And lastly, it is a commitment. It is a commitment to do the things that will help us to forgive, meaning that we let go of attachments. We try to find what is, you know, what is a gift in this situation. We dig deep and we find things that we can be grateful for about this situation. And we do things that will help us to release whatever pain, whatever anger, whatever blame, guilt, shame, all that. So it's a choice, it's a grace, it's a commitment. But first of all, it doesn't happen overnight, and it's not linear. And sometimes it's really a continuous process, especially if the things that we need to forgive keeps on happening. And you might think, well, why does it keep happening? Right? Like, wouldn't that be like, I don't know, what's the point of forgiving something, right? If it keeps on happening. But of course, this is not for all cases, but for the things that we are carrying. Like, for example, I'll give an example. I think that will be easier. So I mentioned in this episode, these are the three things that I continuously forgive about myself. And these are, the choices I made, the path that I took, how I'm choosing to live my life, and who I'm choosing to become. So these are the things. I mean, I'm sure there are others, but these are the top three things, the choices I made and the path that I chose. These are the things that, I've already made that decision. And when I made that decision, it really felt aligned for me. But I know that because of that, there's a cost, right? There's an opportunity cost for every decision that we make. There is a pro, there is a con. And of course, at that time, I've prayed about it, and I really went in knowing what I will be giving up and what I am saying yes to, and I am at peace with that. But even if I am at peace with that, of course, there are consequences, right? Like, whatever reality that we are in right now, these are the consequences of the choices that we made in the past. And I've been candid about how, I'm already 38. And in terms of, um, societal standards, and also with what I would have wanted to achieve in my life at this time, I don't have that security, stability in terms of financial, professional, career, even relationships, you know. And I'm not just saying like, romantic relationship, but even with my friends, my family, it's not how I would have wanted things to be. Like there are things that I know that I could improve on, that I could have done better, that I could do better. But having said that, a bigger part of me is at peace and trusting that, I because if I'm going to see it from a bigger perspective, like I really can honestly say that things unfolded in a way that really served my highest good and benefit. And it's really helped me to be who I am now. And so if it has led me to where I am now, to who I am now, how can I think that, the past years have been a waste? However, there's also a part of me that says, like, but Justine, because of the choices that we made, because of the path that we took, you know, it's not just you who's affected, like other people are also somehow affected with the choices that you made and with how you're living your life now and all that. And so that back and forth, that conflict, that internal conflict, you know, and and I have to forgive myself, continuously forgive myself for that, even though I know deep within me that I made the right choice. I made the right choices. Mm. And I chose a path that truly resonates with my heart, with my soul. There's still a part of me that yells like I somehow failed other people, especially my family and also myself. And I'm feeling that, I'm feeling that, and I have to forgive myself for that continuously. The beauty of human, we're multidimensional, right? There's different aspects and parts of ourselves. But yeah, and that is connected also to how I am choosing to show up and how I am choosing to live my life now moving forward. Because even if I already know what is the more practical thing to do, what is the smarter thing to do, man, when I feel that pull, ah, it's so difficult to push myself to do something that just doesn't feel aligned. And I am both grateful, blessed, and proud of myself. But at the same time, there's also that frustration of why can't you just be like other people? Why can't you just be like a normal person who chooses to be practical, who chooses to be, like do what you have to do, what you need to do. Why can't you just push yourself to do that? And so again, that's something that I continuously forgive about myself. So funny. Man, I'm just laughing because like I'm just this is just a glimpse of what's happening inside the mind, the convoluted mind of Justine. And I'm sure that, somehow, some way you can relate. I'm sure the circumstances may be different, but there is something about you, about how you're living your life, that feels like, that conflict, that internal conflict, having that internal conflict, that push and pull back and forth, and what is the right thing to do? you know. Um, and lastly, who I become, or who I'm choosing to become. This is connected to the second point, how I'm choosing to live my life. And who I'm choosing to become is, of course, I'm, again, like, we are multidimensional. We have different aspects and parts, and, lifetimes. And I, there's a part of me that is aware that, I can choose whoever I want to be, right? We can choose whoever we want to be, and we can reinvent ourselves. We can, redesign our lives. We can choose which parts and aspects of ourselves we want to be in the forefront at any stage in our lives. And I don't know, where am I going with this? I guess for me personally, again, authenticity, like being true to my values, with what feels aligned within. It feels like I'm somehow feeling disconnected from the world, from others. Not, but at the same time, like, I feel this oneness with life. I feel this great love for life, for the collective, for humanity. But in terms of, like, the personal interactions, the personal relationships, in a smaller scale, I guess, in a more like personal scale, I don't know. I feel like I cannot relate, and vice versa. Like, I feel like other people may not understand me, or maybe I'm just projecting. I don't know. And the why I'm sharing this is still, I'm just sharing it, just to share, like, where I am right now. Like, there's really no conclusion or whatever here, but yeah. Um yeah. So anyway, just to share, those are the three things that I continuously forgive about myself. And the point that I wanna invite you to contemplate on is, there are things in your life or about yourself that are also, they're like a shadow, they're like shadows in your life, that they're in the background, they're just hanging in there, and they may directly impact, or maybe indirectly impact, how you are living your life. And other experts or gurus, or other people may say that you need to eliminate those things, right? Like, there has to be a very, what is the word I'm looking for? Yeah, there has to be no doubt. There has to be, there has to be that conviction about the choices you made and who you are and everything else eliminate. But I think there's also a gift in having those things that it's embracing the parts of ourselves that feels unlovable, that feels like a failure, that feels like we just want them to be gone in our lives, but they serve a purpose. And so the invitation is maybe you don't need to totally kill them off, and maybe just need to meet them as they are, accept them as they are, let them be as they are, embrace them as they are. And perhaps it's a continuous forgiveness of these things in our lives that will help us to be more at peace with ourselves. It seems counterintuitive, but for me, it's how I feel really at peace with who I am, the entirety of who I am. Yes, there's this conflict, but the conflict doesn't come with heaviness. There's a bittersweet feeling, there's a nostalgia, there's, you know, some tears shed, but it's not out of heaviness or any low vibrating, low frequency state. It's really coming from a place of loving that parts of ourselves, you know. So anyway, I hope that in the in all that rambling and seemingly jumbled train of thought, you received something from this episode. Um, let me know. Let me know. Anything else? Yeah, just want to thank you for if you're still here listening. Thank you for staying with me throughout that. And I really am grateful for your energy, for your presence, and for your attention, for your time. It's a gift to have you in my community. So thank you so much. Until the next episode, peace, love, and light.